Good afternoon and welcome to our Day 1 closing plenary sessions. A quick reminder that all of our next presenters are online to chat with via the live discussion window on the right side of your screen. Next up, I'm honoured to introduce Peter Kaye, CEO of the Duke of Edinburgh's International Award Australia. Peter himself is a Duke of Ed Silver and Gold Award holder. As a volunteer, he has undertaken a variety of senior governance roles for the award in Australia and internationally since 1979, and is a current member of the International Council. Peter has had an active involvement in a range of charities and community organisations. These roles include the SES Commander of Ashfield Leichhardt Unit, a position he has served in for over 38 years of his 45 of active volunteering with the SES. Peter is also the former chair of the Red Nose Foundation for New South Wales, Victoria and WA. Trained as an economist, Peter has worked in a number of management and executive roles in transport, youth and finance sectors before co-founding Consult Group in 1992, specialising in corporate governance and HR management consulting. In addition to other professional accolades, Peter is the recipient of the Duke of Edinburgh's International Award Gold Distinguished Service Medal and was Citizen of the Year for the Sydney Inner West Council in 2014. Continuing Prince Philip's legacy of a resilient, diverse and tech-savvy Australia, please welcome Peter Kaye.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Very good to be with you this afternoon. Some months after the death of Prince Philip, and the death was a very significant occasion in the sense that it generated a massive awareness of the legacy of this person who was in the public life for many decades. And one of the things that came to light was his work in creating and forming the Duke of Edinburgh's International Award. And we've had many inquiries about the significance of the award and why it's achieved so much attention. So this afternoon, I want to talk about the legacy of Prince Philip and how his legacy is very much contributing to generating a much more IT savvy youth population in Australia and around the world. Just moving through the concept of the Duke of Edinburgh Award, and many of you would be aware of it, but not necessarily fully understand it. The concept of the award is that if we were building it today, they'd be having a conversation around the table that they're building it in open architecture. And the notion of it is that it is a non-formal education program and designed for young people to undertake with a lot of customization and a lot of influence. And then when this is paired with the formal education that they're going through, it provides a very powerful outcome, and it generates confidence and behaviour that does make young people savvy in whatever area they choose to undertake. So people have now been describing as the Prince Philip's Duke of Ed legacy as being enduring and effective. Let's begin by saying the Duke of Ed is a tool, and it was a tool specifically purposely designed for youth workers and educators. And as I've mentioned, it was designed in what we could call today open architecture principles, flexible, dynamic, not set with prescribed activities. And for the time, the mid-1950s, when this was being designed, it was very much groundbreaking. The people behind the Duke of Ed Award, again, we had a prince, we had an expeditioner, and we had a refugee. And I don't use those labels lightly. Prince Philip, clearly, he was someone who thought outside the square and definitely challenged what was, the norm at the time. And he recognised the power that institutions bring to the table, and he used that power with very deliberate purpose and passion. The expeditioner there, I'm referring to John Hunt, who later became Baron Hunt, and he led the first known or recorded summit to Mount Everest. And he was the one that very much recognized the importance of outdoor education and the importance of the expedition for purposes of team building and group dynamics and group skills. And finally, a very key person in all this is Kurt Hahn, Dr. Kurt Hahn, himself a German refugee, left before the outbreak of Second World War, started a school in Scotland called Gordonston, attended by Prince Philip. Prince Philip was very influenced by his more inclusive form of education, where it was not just the academic syllabus, but very much developing the whole person. In designing the award in this open architecture concept, they actually decided to have these guiding principles and these operating principles. And so this is a feature of why the award has remained relevant and robust 60 odd years later. And it's just taking off in countries all around the world, well beyond the initial Commonwealth. And Prince Philip himself never expected it to have that much traction. So the key thing I want to focus on the slide that's on now are the 5 educational essentials, the youth development essentials. And I'm going to look at those in a bit more detail in a moment, but just drop your eyes on those because I'll be revisiting those core 5 educational essentials. But the thing I want to highlight at the bottom of the slide is that the awards design was very, very deliberate. It was designed to be a tool to be put in the hands of educationalists, of youth workers who wanted to engage in a much more holistic form of education. So for those that aren't familiar with the actual award, when we talk about the award, what are we talking about? We are talking about a framework. And it's a framework that only becomes a program when the activities are selected for a particular young person. And that young person may be working in a group, a small group, or maybe undertaking the award solo. But the individual nature of it is that although the activities may be shared by a same group of young people, the goals, the personal best that it is striving for are very much based on the individual. So in summary, we have a 4-part framework. There's a 5th section done at the gold level, and it's done at 3 levels. The bronze level is very much the taste platter. It gives young people a chance to experience the award, and then they start taking on more personalized challenges and more individualized programs as they do the silver and the gold. So delivering the award, delivering this framework is quite a complex process in itself. And what we use is the social franchise model. And countries earn a license to deliver the award. So they get like a master franchise for the country. And then in turn, they license organisations to deliver the award. So in Australia, we have over 1,200 what we call award centres. And these are schools, youth groups, community organisations. We have a zoo there, we have employers, we have prisons, all delivering the award. There is no limit to who can deliver the Duke of Ed Award. The surprising thing for a lot of people is the number of volunteers involved. Around 60,000, of which 4,000 are what we refer to as certified award leaders. They've been trained to interpret and deliver the award. And the majority of the volunteers are those that mentor and provide subject matter expertise in the various activities that are undertaken by young people. And we refer to those as activity assessors. Just on the screen now, some statistics there. I won't go through them all, but the award in Australia, the key thing I want to point out, we do start around 30,000 young people a year at the moment in their program, but our ambition is to reach to 75,000 starters a year within the next 4 to 5 years, and then we'll be well on our way to doing several 100,000 a year. If this program is meant to be influential and for everybody, then we have to be able to get to those sorts of numbers. Okay, so what has made it such a phenomenal success and in over 130 countries? I've already made some reference to it, but the very key components I've referred to at the moment are that it's multi-level, it's multi-component, and the other piece I'm throwing in, it's done over an extended period of time. This is not a sprint, it's not something done over a weekend or a week or a term. This is done over many, many months. Typically, we're talking 12, 18 months to do 1 or 2 levels, 2 to 3 years to do the full 3 levels. So that is a very key component in achieving the behaviour change and the skill acquisition. And I do mean skill acquisition, not just knowledge of skills or knowledge of the behaviours, but these are behaviours that have been demonstrated. They've been hardwired because they've been done repetitively over time. Okay, so here I'm just going to look at break down the components of the design features of the award and why we build such savvy young people as an outcome. They do it locally. They're not taken away into another part of the community, onto an extended camp. It's done within their community. I've mentioned it's done over an extended period of time. Open architecture. The award has got no prescribed activity. When people say, I'm too busy to do the Duke of Edinburgh Award, we don't get that because the Duke of Edinburgh Award does not impose any activity. It's got the 4 areas: the volunteering, the skills section, the physical recreation, personal health section, and the team challenge through an adventurous journey. But we don't prescribe activities, so they can extend on current activities or they can take new activities or a combination of, and that's the open architecture piece. The award requires them to interact with these activity assessors, and these are the subject matter experts. And in doing so, they are building their networking and getting accustomed to working with people that they may not normally work with or associate with. There's a regularity. The Duke of Ed requires engagement on a weekly basis, although it does allow for some activities that have a longer cycle, e.g. Doing an environmental project on the first Sunday of every month. There's teamwork throughout. Young people do the award in a team, although they may do their activities quite individually. So it's a big team component, apart from the adventurous journey. And all along the way, there is a recognition element. The Duke of Edinburgh's Award, particularly Prince Philip, highlighted in design how important it was that these achievements are recognised by the wider community. And he himself undertook to promote that and be the champion of that recognition. On the screen now, I'm not going to go through all of these, but there is some data there about what the views are of 500 senior managers who responded to some research commissioned by the Duke of Ed. And generally, what they've come up in quite significant numbers, claiming that the award does demonstrate these extra qualities and these desired outcomes that employers have, that the soft skills and employers in particular do see things like work experience and volunteering as being very, very important. And the note at the bottom is a very important, a significant one for us, and that is how employers recognise that young people's CVs alone do not showcase, do not reflect what soft skills, what core life skills they have developed. Whereas when they start talking about what they've done for the Duke of Ed, they are more inclined to refer to those. Another bit of research, again, just for you to have a look at while I'm just addressing a couple of points there. But this is research about the award specifically. And so the key elements that came out of that were young people had increased motivation, a better understanding of themselves, their strengths and weaknesses. They developed greater sense of independence and certainly a stronger sense of self-belief. And these are all very strong numbers when you look at the 70 and the 80% that have come through. So this slide summarises quite a broad range of university research around the world. So it's not specific to Australia, about the benefits of the Duke of Ed Award. And they're roughly in the order of significance, because as you can see, the last one, reduced reoffending, recidivism. In some countries, this is really a significant thing. The award, for example, in South Africa is very much used in the prison system, and it helps keep young people out of returning back to prison. That's a much lesser use in Australia. But some of the other benefits that are listed there are very, very relevant and very applicable to Australia. And closer to home, a Western Sydney University study found these 5 qualities had very strong correlations with young people who had undertaken the Duke of Edinburgh's Award. And again, these aren't any surprise to us, and you're probably starting to see a bit of a repeat in messages, but they're all the underlying qualities, what makes a young person resilient and what enables them to be savvy in the true sense of that word. In Australia, we're increasingly having employers recognise the award, and these are some of the employers that have got the question on their recruitment form, have you done the Duke of Ed? They're not promising anything. One of them is, we know from Brisbane City Council, if you've done a Gold Duke of Ed, you get an automatic interview for whatever job you've applied. But generally speaking, they don't promise anything, but they are asking the question. So it's a very strong public endorsement that the Duke of Ed is something desirable. An international study found that when employers are looking for things in resumes, apart from their academic results, they are in order. This research found they're looking for evidence of work experience, they're looking for evidence of volunteering, and specifically, they're looking to see whether the young person has done the Duke of Ed award. That one really surprised us when this research came out. Okay, I mentioned earlier, we're aiming to have this Duke of Ed award available to more and more young people, and we're talking to education authorities around Australia to have the award more strongly micro-credited. However, the important message is that the award in Australia is 100% scalable. So it is funded, self-funded based on the young people's registration fees. There's a modest registration fee when they start the award. It's not an annual fee, it's a one-off. And it's pitched at the lowest possible fee a person can pay to do a season of sport. So at the moment, depending which part of Australia you are, it's around $160, $170 to do the award. And that funds our entire operation Australia-wide. Other than disadvantaged youth, we get all our donor money and any government grants we receive all go towards helping fund disadvantaged young people. So when we look at the young people themselves, and at the completion of their award program, they complete an online survey. And here are 4 of the statistics that have been consistent feedback from young people. 93% say that they tried something new. Now, you don't have to do new things for the award, but you can see 93% undertook new challenges. 64% claim they feel that they've changed as a person, 90% being challenged, and 76% feeling inspired. So when it comes to our hashtag World Ready, we do strongly believe that the award now has the runs on the board and can prove that it does generate young people who are generally world ready. Prince Philip himself used the term infinite potential quite regularly, and in celebrating his 100th year, he didn't quite make his 100th birthday. We've adopted the infinity symbol, and because he was a champion of the infinite potential of young people, and he is a recognised pioneer of non-formal education. He very much believed in helping his program, helping young people become savvy for the world ahead of them, world of technology, the world of change and uncertainty. Thank you very much for this opportunity to further share and describe those key features of Duke Award to you.